And a very warm welcome to you. I'm Hayley Palmer. Really lovely to have you on the Memory Lane 80s show. Now, we have a special guest for you. Of course we do. It's a band called Modern Romance. I know you'll remember them. Here's what happened when I caught up with Andy from the band. Andy, it's great to have you on the show. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Great to be here and great to see it's another face, but it's a new face. Because obviously on lockdown we're not seeing anybody, we're seeing our own families and if we're lucky, a neighbour across the fence. So you're new for me, so hello new person.
Hey, well it's great to have you on the show. I've got to say, Andy, I love your songs, and whenever I go to a wedding or a party and I hear your songs, I am straight up on that dance floor. There's no stopping me.
Well, it's actually written, if you look on the back of the record, it says anyone who doesn't dance to this record will be killed. So you're lucky, because it's part of the terms and conditions on the back of our record, right? But no, it has that effect. The good thing is it does have that effect live as well. So, when we do play live, everyone does immediately. People might be sitting around having a drink. As soon as you start playing one of our songs, I have to tell people, they come to the show and they go, it's strange, and I say, look, it's not me, it's the songs. The songs have that effect, like you just said.
Yeah.
Those songs do have this effect, and as soon as we start playing them, people are on the dance floor, going bananas, and for me, that's the essence of Modern Romance. That's what we're about.
Yes, well, I cannot get enough of your songs. I think I might have even played one in my Zumba class as well, Andy. You might be horrified by that. And then the first song we're going to play out is Don't Stop That Crazy Rhythm from 1983. Again, just such a crowd pleaser and just a really good, feel-good, fun song, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's, as I said, it's what we do. I'd like to think we do it well. It works. People get on the dance floor, and that's ostensibly what we're all about.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Well, let's play it out. Here is Don't Stop That Crazy Rhythm, number 14 in 1983.
The music's getting closer, so you ride, just wait and see. So get up close and don't look around, keep up and stick with me. I see a light, look where? It's closer all the time. Let's stay, let's play and make this moment yours and mine. But don't stop, don't stop, don't stop that crazy rhythm. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop that crazy beat. Next time you think you've got that happy feeling, don't stop that rhythm, get into your feet. We're kissing, dancing, just a touch romancing. Tomorrow never comes, well, so it said. A taste of honey, no one thinks of chancing. But this time, don't think, don't talk, let's do the things we read. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop that crazy rhythm. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop that crazy beat. Next time you think you've got that happy feeling, don't stop that rhythm, get into your feet. Your mama says it's time for bed, but you got that music in your head. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop that crazy beat. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop that crazy rhythm. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop that crazy beat. Next time you think you've got that happy feeling, don't stop that rhythm, get into your feet. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop that crazy rhythm. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop that crazy.
Now, Andy, I want to talk a little bit more about Modern Romance because you had massive success in the 80s, didn't you? And I know that you reformed the band in 1999. What can you tell us about your experience with the band?
Well, the 80s. Oof, what can I say about the 80s?
We love the 80s.
I mean, the 80s, the hair, the clothes, the different musical styles, the new musical styles that came out, the electro music, use of synthesizers. I hate to say it, but synthesized drums came at that time. Anyway, but I hated them particularly because I was a drummer and I thought, what is this thing coming along here, But eventually, I got to grips with it. I thought, okay, this is progress. We have to go with it, But generally, the 80s, everybody was. The thing about the 80s is that it was acceptable to be different.
Yeah.
So if somebody came out with half their hair orange. I mean, I'll tell you what. I went out one night and I decided, God knows why, I had these shoes. I had these shoes and I had them in two colours.
Oh.
They were like really flat shoes. I used to like flat shoes. So I had a red pair and a blue pair, like pale blue, light blue. And I decided one night, I'm going to wear one red shoe and one blue shoe because they're the same. Right. And everyone was like, oh, you've got different shoes on. I went, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And they went, oh, okay then. Everybody was so accepting. You could do what you wanted with your hair. Yeah. And the more outrageous it was and the more different it was, the more people would kind of admire you for it and say, oh, that's a good twist on that. That's really good. You've done that. It's a great idea. I never thought of that. And that was just the styles. Then you had the music and you had so many differing musical styles, vying for a spot on top of the pops. And that was the thing. You could watch programs like it was the iconic music program where you'd get a ska band followed by a rock band followed by a really poppy, cheesy band, maybe like us,
Yay.
Who knows? Who knows? People might think, oh, they're cheesy. It doesn't matter.
We love the cheese.
You've got all these different styles. You've got soul music, you had reggae, all on one show. And people would, what I liked about it is people would sit there and go, well, I'm a soul person, and then they'd hear a rock number and go, do you know what? This is actually not quite bad. And it would open their eyes and their ears to a different genre of music.
Yes.
So you had all that going on in the 80s. You don't get that now because everything's...
You don't.
You've got little boxes. Like you're a rock band, you go on the rock show. You're a soul band, you're on the soul show. And that's it. And it's very... For me, it's quite sterile. Yeah, it's like you listen to one kind of music and you're never going to listen to something different because you're not exposed to it because you're honing in on that channel. That's the channel that you watch. That's it. I'm going to home in on that. That's my jam, as they say. That's it. I'm going on there. And but the 80s was just so very diverse.
It was. Bring back the
musical
80s.
taste.
Yeah, we just love it.
Well, that's what's so brilliant about when you go to the 80s gigs.
Exactly. It just brings back so many memories, doesn't it? Just fantastic. Well, your next song, I knew you were waiting, George Michael and Aretha Franklin. When I heard you were going to pick this song, I was like, yes, because I love to play this in my car and sing badly.
Well, what can I say? First of all, George Michael, the man with possibly one of the, well, not possibly, definitely one of the best voices in pop music ever.
Great.
I hate him. How can he sing that well? But no, he had a fantastic voice. And then, I mean, how must have he felt to someone to say to him, oh, by the way, we've arranged, or whoever arranged it, I don't know whose idea it was, we've arranged for you to do a song with Aretha Franklin.
Just wow.
I mean, that's like someone saying to me, as a drummer, oh, by the way, next week you're doing a little jam with Santana, Earth, Wind and Fire, and a couple of the other bands that you love, I'd be falling on the floor. Yeah. And so there you go. You've got this masterful voice that is George Michael, and then you've got the Queen of Soul.
I agree with that.
Aretha Franklin.
Completely.
How can you
not love this? Well, here it is. George Michael and Aretha Franklin, number 1 in 1987. Now, Andy, we've got a question from one of our viewers, Martin. Good evening, Martin. He wants to know, what was it like performing on Top of the Pops? Because I've heard it's smaller than you think. Is that right?
It was rubbish. No, I'm joking. It was absolutely amazing. It is smaller. It's much smaller because it's very clever. You're in a fairly decent sized studio, fairly decent sized room, but they make it look like Wembley Stadium, because what they do is they put a stage there, a stage there. So basically, the audience watches that band ahead of you, and as soon as they finish, you turn to that band there. So what you've done is swung round, 15 degrees, 10 degrees, 15, and the next band are there. And of course, the backdrop has changed. So they're thinking either they've got 15 studios they're doing this stuff in, or it's a huge studio, huge room, but it's not. They've done that, and they go round, and by the time you finish, you go round and do everybody, and everyone's done. And of course, you've got the occasional video where someone couldn't appear, so they show that as well. And they just, through the course of the evening, make it look like a huge place, but it's really not. And it's the same audience. And of course, what happens is, and it's very clever, when the audience are watching this person here, and I'm at the front, when we turn that way, I'm no longer at the front. The people over there are at the front.
Oh, okay, got you.
So it's like...
It's clever how they do it, isn't it?
Yeah,
TV's
so
very clever.
So you think, well, it's a huge studio because there are so many people. It's not the same people, but you just see different front people, and so you don't see the same person again.
Yeah. You
don't realise what they've done. They just swiveled round, and it's very clever.
Well, bring back Top of the Pops. That's what I say. I missed my Thursday night, and I want to know who's number one. Bring it back. Now, your next song choice, Run to You, Bryan Adams. Absolute timeless classic. Why have you chosen this song today, Andy?
I love Bryan Adams because there's a certain, and I use this word, there's a certain honesty to his songs. They're just plain, just downright rock and roll. I'm going to sit here, going to strum my guitar, belt it out, play a solo. There's an honest lyrics. There's none of this. Let's put these lyrics down where no one actually knows what they mean, and they have to get a dictionary and go, what does this all mean? I walk along the coast of your lifeline, and all these like weird things. You go, what? What does it actually mean? Normal. I love boy meets girl. Boy loves girl. I want you. You've left me. I'm heartbroken. Normal stuff, which I love. And it's twinned with rock and roll. It's like, good old rock and roll. And this song actually, I've performed it many times. I love doing this, So occasionally when we throw some covers in, and I do this because, contrary to popular belief, my normal voice isn't, I say my normal voice, my preferred style of singing is that kind of raucous, like Phil Collins, like Bryan Adams, Richard Marx. That's my kind of style, that kind of like throaty thing, Rod Stewart. So I do this song, and I love doing this. I absolutely love, one of my favourite songs to do when it comes to doing covers. This is one of my favourite songs.
This is the one. Well, you can sing along to it, Andy. I won't sing along because I'm tone deaf, but everyone at home can make sure you sing along. Here is Run to You, Bryan Adams, number 11 in 1985. Now, Andy, because you are on the Memory Lane 80s show, we've got a quick fire 80s quiz for you. Aren't you lucky? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm wondering what's coming, actually, but there you go.
Okay.
Let's see.
Favourite song from the 80s?
Right, that's quite easy because one of my favourite songs, that's quite easy for me. It's one of my favourite songs from the 80s, pop-wise, because we've got jazz and all different genres. But if I had to pick pop, there's only one for me. It's a standout song for me, The Reflex, Duran Duran.
Tune. We'll let you have that. Best memory from the 80s?
Best memory from the 80s. Oh, you ain't going to believe this one. It's actually going to be in my book, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Best memory of the 80s, right? Best memory of the 80s is walking into a club. I don't know how familiar you are with London in the 80s, but it was a club called Xenon.
Right.
And I walked in there one night, Leicester Square, walked into Xenon to meet some friends, and I was early. So I thought, go and get a drink. Walk up to the bar, and there's a bloke there. And I immediately recognised this guy, and I thought, oh, that's so-and-so. I shall tell you in a minute. More will be revealed. So I thought, oh, it's so-and-so. So I went, hello, so-and-so, using his name. And he turned around, he went, hello. And he went, oh, he said, you're one of the guys from Modern Romance. I said, yeah. I said, I'm Andy, the drummer. Pleased to meet you. He goes, oh, yeah. So he obviously knew who I was, didn't know my name, but he knew what band I'm in, whatever. And we had a good chat. We actually chatted for an hour. He was asking me what I'd been doing, and we'd just come back from the Far East doing the tour and everything. So I said, I'd just come back from Japan and Thailand and everywhere else that we've done. And I said, what have you been doing? And he said, I've been working with Michael Jackson. So I thought, well, drop a few names, why don't you? But I would as well if I was working with Michael Jackson, yeah.
Of course.
So anyway, so we had a good chat anyway. Really, really lovely bloke. Smashing geezer. We had a
was
nice
it?
time. And anyway, well, my friends walked in and I said to him, got to go now. Lovely to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you too. Take it easy. Bye-bye. See you later. And I went off. This bloke was a bloke by the name of, you may have heard of him. His name was Freddie Mercury.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That was a good story in that case then.
And it was like, wow. And I didn't, do you know what? I just walked off because remember, I was on Top of the Pops and George Michael would be there and, Duran Duran and UB40 and everyone would be around. So for me, it was just somebody from my industry that I thought, oh, I'll go and say hello, and I did, and we had a chat, and I didn't think anything of it, and it didn't actually hit me that, wow, I had a chat with this bloke, not until I saw him on Live Aid. When he was on Live Aid, and I went, I sat and chatted to this geezer for an hour, and he's got everyone eating out the palm of his hand, stuff,
Brilliant stuff. Well, that is a good one. A favourite TV show from the 80s?
Easy. There's so many. It's between Miami Vice and Kojak. But I'd say Miami Vice.
Miami Vice, yeah.
But Miami Vice because of the cars, the music they had sometimes in the background because there was a lot of Latin stuff going on, and the clothes. Don Johnson is a god. I'm sorry. How has anyone got the right to be that good looking and look that good in clothes? Shouldn't be allowed. Shouldn't be allowed.
Best thing a fan gave you from the 80s?
Best thing a fan gave me from the 80s. I don't know about the best thing because there were loads of little teddy bears and things, and probably one of the best things was someone actually drew with their hand. Hand drawn sort of thing, not computer generated. We never had them at the time. Hand drew a picture of the band and then a picture of me by myself. And I looked at it and I went, "You drew this?" And I've still got them. I've kept them. I've got a little portfolio that I keep things in. Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. Well, your next song choice, Mary's Prayer, Danny Wilson. Why this song, Andy?
I love the guy's voice. I love the song. There's a part of it that just gives me little goosebumps, and a little thing they do in the background on the guitar, and I go, "Oh, that's so nice," And I actually thought they were American when they first came out. I thought they were American for many, many years until I was chatting to somebody, and they said, "Oh yeah," they said, Danny Wilson, yeah, they live down the road." And I went, "What do you mean they live down the road? When did they move here?" They went, "No, they're from, I can't remember if they're Scottish or from Newcastle. I think they're Scottish. But anyway, they're up north somewhere." And they said, "No, they live down the road. This is where they're from." Oh. And I thought, oh, there's a surprise. There's something I didn't know. And this is only like 4 or 5 years ago I realised that they weren't American. But until then I thought they were. Fantastic song. Absolutely love it. Yes. I don't know why they never had more success after this.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Great song.
Great song. Okay, well, here is Mary's Prayer, Danny Wilson, number 3 in 1987. Enjoy. Oh, yes, here is another Modern Romance classic. Just got to dance to it, haven't you? Here we go.
I like it. I know what you mean. Sweet tender kisses. I like it. I know what you mean. With crystal and shades of the rainbow. I know what you mean. Champagne and candlelit evenings. The clinking of glasses and passionate glances. The moments I'll always remember. High life, whoa, high life. High life, whoa, high life. Oh, it's a wild life, my life, whoa, it's your life. This our song I'll always remember. I asked her to go to a place that I know and let this moment last forever. High life, whoa, high life. High life, whoa, high life. Night life, oh, it's a wild life. My life, whoa, it's your life.
Brilliant to have you on the show. Now we're going to leave everyone with Burn It from the 80s, absolute tune. And what's coming up for you next? Obviously I know we're at a kind of tricky time, but you are doing a lot of gigs. I mean, they have been cancelled, but hopefully they will be back on, won't they?
Yeah, they'll be back on next year. I don't know if there'll be any at the tail end of this year because everyone's kind of afraid to book. They're not sure, if you book, because what happens is obviously people book gigs and they do all the promotion for it and then they have to cancel it. And promotion's expensive, as we know. And I think everyone's thinking, well, if we book them for the end of the year and then this thing's still going on, we've just thrown another load of money away. So I'm not sure if people will bother. But for next year, we've already got loads lined up, already booked, being promoted. Yeah, so for this year, it's a case of sit around, do loads of barbecues in my new barbecue area.
Love your new barbecue, don't you, Andy?
Oh, I christened it the other night. It's fantastic.
Well, you've got to enjoy life, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I wanted to do for ages. So I've now got an outdoor barbecue, outdoor kitchen, basically. So it's lovely. But yeah, between then, now and next year when they start, it's just write a few songs and do loads. Well, like everyone else, I've tidied the garage, tidied the shed, retidied the garage. Just finding stuff to do because there's only so much you can do musically. I mean, I've got a drum kit literally there. Literally.
So your neighbours love you.
4 feet away from me is a drum kit. There's a keyboard. There's a PA. So I do a little bit of work and I go, I'm going to go and play a bit of music. So I'll just go over there and sit down and play and write a few songs and go, oh yeah, it's nice that. And I'll write something and then I think I'll come back to that another time and then I'll go and do something else. So you just keep yourself entertained like a lot of people have had to do.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, here's for 2021. We'd love to see you in concert. We love your tunes, Andy. Thank you so much. You've been a fantastic guest. Meanwhile, I'm going to go and dance to the next song. Thank you, Andy, everyone, from Modern Romance.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. See ya. Stay safe.
'cause I really know it's gonna be tonight. Better burn your heart, girl. Gonna be tonight. There's no escaping me. Gonna be tonight. It's your turn to burn your seed. I just got to burn it. Burn it. I'm gonna burn you down. Oh, burn it. Burn it. I'm gonna burn you down with me. I'll burn it. I'm gonna burn you down, down, down. I'm gonna burn you down, down,
We've now come to the end of the show, but thank you so much for tuning in. It's really great to have your support, and I love you here with me on a Saturday night. We are definitely in the best place. And remember, I love hearing from you. Thank you so much for all your lovely tweets. Details are on the screen below of how you can get in contact. And I will see you same time, same place next week. I'm Hayley Palmer, and stay safe.